All right, welcome back to I'm Glad You Asked. I'm Bianca Ariel, business coach and creator from the Career to Calling course. Welcome.
And hi, everyone. I am Dominique Rice, owner of Dominique Rice Consulting and multiple nanny agencies. So glad you guys are tuned in today and can't wait to share with you about our week.
Yay! All right, let's get into it. So let's go through positive, challenge, positive for the week.
All right, let's go. All right, I'll get started first today. My positive this week, it's so funny, but money has been flowing to me easily. I'm thankful, and what you say to the universe is you always say, thank you, more please, so like, you're never like, I'm very thankful for it, but it's just like a large amount, lots flowing in, and everything just kind of flows. So, I feel really good about that. My challenge for this week is I had a little situation with someone who's employed by one of my clients and just struggling with, dealing with it, but just like, I struggle when someone asks for feedback and then you tell them exactly how to handle things and then they do the complete opposite and then they come back for you for help. It's like,
can we get some clarity?
You didn't listen to what I said. So like, for instance, this particular situation is a client who employs someone, and they are, with COVID, everything is kind of high end, especially with certain situations. And so I provided her, she had some family member who may have been exposed to COVID. So I sent her a link somewhere to get tested a week ago. This was actually like, what day? Today's Monday. So literally a week ago today. And she didn't go. They got their test back. It was negative. So now here we are today, and she read an article about a stomach ache and something else with COVID, and now she's like, oh my God, I might have COVID. Well, why didn't you go get tested a week ago? Not only that, the place that I sent you was 100% free. Like, you wouldn't, you know what I mean? So this is the second week in a row that the client's like, yo, what's going on? Are you living risky? Because this isn't going to work for us, And so I'm like, well, why are you contacting me again? We talked again last night about some issues she had, and I keep giving her feedback, and she, like, when I give people feedback and they don't take any of it, I'm like, well, why are you asking me? Like, I'm like, you're asking me for my support, and then you do the exact opposite. I'm like, even little things like when I told her to get tested, she was like, well, my doctor said the rapid test. I'm like, well, you didn't even look online. They offer all the testing there. So if you want rapid testing, that's not even the free one. I'm advising you to go the free one, which is exactly what your doctor says. And your doctor can't get you until Thursday, and they can get you in the same day. So instead of like thinking, like basically like saying, look, you're not a doc, I talk to the medical professionals. Well, then what the hell are you asking me for? So I'm like, well, then you and the medical professionals decide. So I'm convinced this particular person wants to get fired because she's like, well, my husband just said if this doesn't work out, I could just get unemployment and we'll be fine. I said, girlfriend, let me tell you something. These unemployment benefits you speak of are expiring on July 31st. You will only get that extra money for 2 weeks if you got fired today. And let me tell you something about North Carolina. Unemployment does not work the same. It's taking anywhere between a month to 3 months to even get it. So what you gonna do for that month to 90 days? She said, well, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, well, maybe you should talk to the professionals and they can help you. But that was my challenge, like being calm and handling it. And I did well. Given the circumstances. But back to the positivity.
Okay.
My positive this week is I am in New Jersey with my family. I am 100% following the law in quarantining for 14 days while I'm here. I only go for walks. I don't grocery shop anyways. We do Instacart in this family.
And people make fun of me for that, but I'm like, look, it is what it is. Go ahead.
I wasn't going to the store pre-COVID, so I'm not going to start now. And my family doesn't go to the store either, so we're just a ordering groceries family. But we're not going. But my baby cousin is 19 years old, and he's a very strong college athlete. And I'm here cooking for him every day. It's just me and him, and we hang out. We do sit-ups together. I make his every dinner for him, and it's just been really fun. I can't wait till I have a whole bunch of kids to take care of.
I love it.
Woo. We do have a gnat problem. So if y'all see me go like this, we're working on it.
Yeah, girl, I just had to take care of a freaking fly. All right, cool. Love it. So positive this week. So I am still in Tulum. So
Yeah.
I moved to another condo, and there's a gym like 2 doors down, and it's like no one's here. So it's just literally like my own private gym. So I finally started working out again, and I'm starting to fall in love with it. So I'm like, woo! I'm like, so it's like, you're excited when you come home from a workout and then you start looking up the workouts for tomorrow, like what you gonna do.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. I bought a bike. So, like this morning I had to get water. So I just hopped on my bike, and I just really want to get my body moving again. So that's that. Now, challenge. I don't know if this is considered a challenge. I guess I'll see if it'll be a challenge. So I permanently deleted my Instagram, and Facebook. So I didn't tell you. I know I was waiting for the show to tell you. That's everybody's reaction. What? So obviously there's the personal aspect to it, right? But then there's also the business aspect to it, because I have booked clients based on Instagram and Facebook, right? But I think for me, there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. And so first and foremost, I want to get rid of any old energy. So I do plan on creating a new Instagram, but it's just going to be on some new energy type of stuff, because it's something that was created before I launched my business coaching practice. So my intention with Instagram is going to shift. But for now, I'm okay with it. I noticed that I was doing a lot of journaling this week, and I was just thinking about distractions, and I spent a lot of idle time on Instagram. I do. And and then of course there's a compare and contrast component to it as well. And so with me, growing my practice, I just want my emphasis to be on LinkedIn, since I think that's the majority of my clientele. And I also want to work on my creativity and create videos. So I'm just going to be operating with YouTube and LinkedIn. And then I'm also going to launch a Vimeo account as well. So my goal is just to kind of focus on those platforms for now. And then I'll start another Instagram when I'm in that space. So that's that. So it'll be interesting. Now I still have to know what's going on. Like I heard that IGTV is going to start paying influencers like they do YouTube. Yeah. So I'll still like upload on I'm Glad You Asked and stuff like that, and influence when we relaunch. But for me personally, I'm just not going to utilize it for now. Then I guess another positive is I was in Tulum, and I interacted with some traveling expats yesterday, safely. And, we're just sitting there talking about, like, it was so crazy because I was a guest on her podcast, which was like a traveling podcast called Chronicles Abroad 3 years ago. And the title of my episode, and the title of my episode is, basically how Bianca Ariel plans to move abroad. So 3 years later, here we are, manifestation, and I'm sitting here and I moved abroad. So what was so interesting is, and then I looked down at my phone, which this is, our clients pay us or whatever. So I sent an invoice out this week for a new client. So I'm literally moved abroad. I'm having a nice glass of wine. I look down at my phone and, Stripe payment, boom, pops up. So I'm just like, yo, if this universe, like you mentioned, like, please, thank you so much, and please more. Like, I am super aligned. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I find myself like at tables, and I don't want to be a coach in every situation. So I'm going to learn how to not talk and just listen. Because I just find myself always asking, a lot of, we had a young lady that was with us who, she works in HR, and she doesn't know, she knows that you could work remotely. I know a lot of people are working remotely anyways, but my whole goal and consensus is like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to be in HR, or, are you what are you passionate about? What are you connected to? What did you want to do as a child? And so I find myself trying to have those conversations. And then I'm also in a clique of people now, to where I'm so used to being a misfit, but now I'm in a clique of people that are traveling. It's kind of like how we met in remote year. You're around everybody that's an entrepreneur, that loves to travel, like that does coaching, that does marketing, that does videography, like everybody like around me is like aligned with what I do. So now I'm like, okay, we need a collab. Like, I'm going to interview her for my podcast, and we're going to talk about dating in Tulum and dating overseas and things like that. So, the alignment is just crazy. So I can't wait for you to get here, or, we'll see each other soon in August though. You're going on the trip in August, right?
Yes. So that's
see how active I am. That's why you can see how active I am. That's what happens when you don't have Instagram. you
Let me say something. My friend has suggestion. I mean, first of all, I'm like, okay, my friend's coming, so we're gonna have a side note about how we need our own bathroom and all that other stuff. Because me and Bianca, whenever we travel in groups, except for even before we were like really close friends, we always just happened to like share a room.
Yeah.
And so that was always been our thing. Like we just like always were randomly thrown in together. And then now I'm like, okay, that's our roommate, and we want our own bathroom. So, so
like when they were talking about like getting smaller spaces, I want a big house, but if they're like talking about getting separate things, I'm like, well, I mean, as long as me and Dominique are gonna just have to get our own stuff, like
we already know, we already know right here.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I know. I was like, okay, me and Bianca want a big room with the bed, good beds, and our own bathroom. So, yeah. But I'm really for the big house. So we know a lot of digital nomads, a lot of people who are remoters, and we're planning a trip to Colorado to stay for a month and all be together in a big house, and it's going to be so fun. So we'll be reunited hopefully soon. Good news is that the passport office in 4 locations are all in phase 2. So I only have to, once we get to phase 3, I can update my passport. So
I checked on that, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to bother, I just didn't want the vibrations. I just wanted to let it go, but I was looking like, when is this passport thing?
It's funny because I let it go, but, and it's also funny because I'm in New Jersey, and anybody who knows me, my full-time residence is North Carolina. That's my home base. And so all the locations are like up here. New York City, Buffalo, I think Boston. So like Boston's like the farthest one, and that's like a 5-hour drive. I think Buffalo's like maybe 4 hours, but I can take the train into the city. I mean, I have a car too here. So I'm like, it's just always how the universe aligns. I'm where the hell I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how I know I need to be here, because that's what, I thought I was going to go just drive to Atlanta and get it. Or, bust a flight to Philly real fast and get it. But I'm like, where I'm at, I'm like right by all the locations that are open. So I was like,
it's happening soon. Like, it's going down. Don't even worry about it.
So my man knows. He's excited.
Awesome. So so back to like, you see how I'm like doing suggestions, like, so should it be August 20th? Like, what should, like, I'm all up in the group, like, I'll volunteer. I have to ask
I love it. And I was like, well, I can go until, because I wanted to spend my birthday at home with my family. That was my thing.
Okay.
And so that was my only thing. Like, I could do anytime. I don't have anything else going on, but I already told my man I was going to spend my birthday home and my family and stuff like that, and just do a nice birthday dinner. So that's why I was like, I just got to leave by the 20th.
Okay. Boom. Well, there it goes. So we made it work. I was like, okay, so August 20th to September 20th sounds like a plan. So I don't want to do, and I'll say this on the Zoom call tomorrow, I don't want to do California. I don't want to do India.
I didn't read any of the rest of them today. Who said California?
I think Ashley. She was like, she wants to do India, California. She did, I don't know, but I want to do Colorado, preferably like a chalet or a cabin.
Yeah. Well, the only, another one that I liked was like Washington. I want to do something that's like random, like Washington, Colorado, Montana.
That's what I want to do. I'm on the vibes like that. I lived in Washington before, so I wouldn't be super excited, but it's probably going to be more affordable than Colorado, because Colorado is a little pricey. That's all I can say. But as long as it's like more mountains, like hiking, like vibes, like that's when I'm more like, I want like peace and quiet, fresh air.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like Colorado. How far is that from Denver?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll look it up later, because I was looking at Aspen too. I was like, Aspen, Breckenridge, but they were bringing up the same listing, so they might be close to each other. I don't really know.
It's gonna be by Aspen. That's cool. I don't know about any of that shit over there, y'all. I don't know about nothing. I'm like, Aspen? Denver could be like 12 hours away. I have no damn clue. I'm like, I'll just drive to Denver. They're like, no, you won't.
I
There's no
think
flight.
about doing a road trip from LA to Colorado, like flying back, going to LA, and then doing a road trip from LA then to Colorado. But I haven't decided yet. I'll see.
Well, let me know. I'm available.
Okay. Oh yeah, that'd be fun. And we can film it. Yeah. Like, but we can stop in like Vegas and like do like, we can look up like a little route to see like where we should stop and whatever, and then make our way there.
Exactly.
Boom. All right. So the topic for this week. So, it's very interesting. So based on a conversation that I had this week, I think that we should talk about, business partners that fall out. Because I think it's really interesting. We had the conversation at the table and, there was mention about like, you need to have like an exit plan and you really need to have, an outline of, responsibility and things like that. And I feel like you and we work so natural together, but I don't think that's always the case. But going into partnership, I mean, things happen. I mean, it's just the reality of it all. So I wanted to kind of talk about your perspective and, any experience that you've had working with other people in the past too, because this is really my first partnership as a business. And then we could talk about like, things that we've done just to kind of solidify, our union.
Yeah. So I had a business partner before, not a legit business partner.
Okay.
And I am a business partner. So I believe in profit sharing. I don't believe in giving people portions of your company. That's very, very important to me. You and I are a sacred situation because we came in, we built this together. But so many of my clients and peers and things like that think that getting a business partner is a solution. So I had a business partner with one of my nanny agencies when I first started. I was 6 months in and I was so stressed. I was making the money, but it was so much work. So one of my colleagues, she said, my sister, she had a babysitting service. She may be a good partner for you. And we hit it off right away. We did profit sharing. So it was all my company. We did profit sharing, which means she made 50% of the profits.
Okay.
She had a child. She was pregnant at the time. And then she had a child and everything was fine. And then she got pregnant a second time. And that's when things differ. So she wasn't able to dedicate the time and energy and things of that nature that the business needed to grow. Also, she was looking at the business from a perspective of it was a way to make extra money. I was looking at it to grow a multi-million-dollar corporation. So we didn't have the same trajectory of what we wanted our business to be. So we sat down, and I was actually married at the time, as was she, and we had to sit down with our husbands, and we basically did a mediation with our husbands, and we couldn't come to a solution. So what we decided was to end it. Even though I didn't have to, she named a dollar amount that she wanted, and I paid her that because I felt like she did help in certain ways, and I was able to pay her that. And I did, so the amount that she asked for, I paid her that over 3 months, and we went our separate ways. It was very hard for me because I really do love her as a person. We had our lives very intermingled. I actually met my current boyfriend through her at one of their parties. And so we were really good friends. So we had a lot of mutual friends. So, friends felt like they had to choose what side, but a lot of our friends were her family. So socially, it was very isolating for me for a while, but it had to happen for my financial growth, so I'm really thankful for the opportunity. And I currently am a business partner. So I work with Miami Nannies, which is a nanny agency based in Miami. I am not the owner, I'm a managing partner, and I also do profit sharing. They would like me to buy the company because I'm trying to get out the industry, although it's very lucrative. I don't have a desire to do that. I just enjoy to manage and just take my profits. So keep it simple.
So how did that affect your friendship? Because why does a friendship have to end when a business ends?
For her, she was devastated. I thought we could still be friends, but I'm kind of like a dude when it comes to stuff like that. Like, she was like, I don't ever want to talk to you anymore. I'm like, well, why? Like, I did everything you wanted me to do.
Right.
I paid you the number you named. So it was really weird. So I don't know. I'm like, it wasn't like I was just like, I could have been like, bye, no money for you. You're out, but I said, you name your dollar amount. She named her amount. I paid her, I think it's emotions, So in order to prevent those things, that's why like having open dialogue and really saying like, just because you don't want to be in the business or you can't handle it anymore, doesn't mean we can't be friends.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I mean, business is business. It is what it is. Like, look, it ain't working. Like, but I don't think that it should affect your friendship. And I think communication is key.
Right.
So what I heard in the story I was told was a lot of miscommunication and then not a lot of transparency. And I just feel like if that's truly a friend, like it is what it is. Like you work together, and if it doesn't work out, like let's just like end it. Look, what's like if once we don't have the same common goal, like that's it. Like let's end it. Or if it's a situation like, look, I got another opportunity, I don't have time to do this anymore, like then I feel like, okay, let's create an exit strategy. For you and I don't really think like, even for Influent, like we don't have, well, we have an exit strategy, that's for sure. We definitely have an exit strategy, but we didn't, yeah, that's for damn sure. But we didn't, it was like we did a partnership, we have an agreement, we everything is 50-50, like you do this, I'll do that, and like we help where we can, and that's it. We actually, we pay our fees for our consulting because our experience is dedicated to the business, right? Because we wouldn't be able to create it without our experience. So I just don't see, and then everything we make is just going to be 50-50. That's just on period. Boom, boom. So I don't see what, like, how would you feel if like I went and just started a travel company and didn't even like with somebody else and then, but didn't even say anything to you? Like,
I feel really offended. And my thing is like, I've had that happen. Not with a business partner, but I had an employee. Let me edit this portion before I sound like a. I had an employee that was my right hand. She made almost 6 figures working for me. She was very close to me, and she left with no notice, took an employee with her, and started her own agency. But let me tell you something. When you do something like that, God does not provide for you. And not to say like, oh, I wish harm on anybody, because please don't take it that way. But she's been sick, miserable, like sick, like deathly ill, not making no money with her business, none of that. Now, mind you, not only did she leave, but she took things that we were working on in her business. Like I was creating a program called Family First. She took that name, she took those color schemes and everything. I could have sued her, but I didn't.
and why didn't you?
I didn't because in my industry, in the nanny industry, and this is something that we're working on correcting, but as a Black woman, I felt like if I were to sue her or complain, I would be the mean Black lady. And oh, poor sweet girl, I'm gonna say her name, poor sweet girl, you were working for the mean Black lady, and then you got your own, and now she's trying to sabotage you. No, because let me tell you something. Nobody knows how hard I had to work to get what I got. And I knew in my heart, she's a wonderful person. She's very, we had a relationship like where she's a creative. So she could come up with the ideas, the branding, the relationships, all that stuff. But she could never handle the business side of things. She didn't know the dark side of things that I had to handle every single time stuff hit the fan. She didn't have to deal with the finances, the taxes. You just got your paycheck and you got to kick it. And so people don't see the other side of what people do until they're gone. And when she got out there, let me tell you something, she started with 4 business partners. Within a year, every single one of them were gone. None of it worked out. She never knew how hard it would be managing people and working with people. I made it look easy to some people, even though I was never perfect, but I made it look like easier than what people thought it was. And it was hard, And so one thing I'll say about our relationship and why I feel confident, because I never thought I had a business partner in anything that I did, ever. Right. But one thing about Bianca and I is we just communicate. And if we don't like something or we're not open, hey girl, I don't like that. Or can you change that? But the main thing that I think is important is like, neither of us want to be the boss. I have no desire to tell Bianca what to do. I love when Bianca tell me what to do. I'm like, girl, what do you want me to do? Okay, cool. I just go do it. It's refreshing not to have to think so damn much.
Right, yeah.
I love it. Yes, girl, let's run with it. Like 2 brains are better than 1 in this case. But we're not trying to be 2 chiefs. We're trying to just support each other. And that's the reason why I think we're successful, because sometimes people come together and everybody has egos and everybody wants to be the boss. I just want to make some money. That's it. And have a good time. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be the boss. You don't have to tell. I just tell them, don't tell people I'm the owner. I I don't have to, oh, I'm the owner. I want a paycheck. I want my money.
Mm, mm.
I don't need the fame.
Yeah, so for you and I, cultivating a business together was just very organic. Like we mentioned before earlier, like we were in Morocco and we just worked next to each other the entire time, right? So then like fast forward to we became friends. So then fast forward, we go to Cape Town and we interviewed the owner of Seven Sisters, and the concept just like cultivated like organically from there. And then all of a sudden we were meeting a connection, and then we just created something that was just super organic. So number one, it was never forced. So a lot of times you have a concept and then you go looking for a partner. It may not pan out, the way that intended, or it may be great. But I think for me and the way that I like to live, I like things to happen and not be forced. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, I respect her as an entrepreneur and an owner. I can be around somebody very and understand very quickly if I could ever work with them or not, because we have the same principles and values. Like you said, you didn't have to pay that young lady. You could have been like, well, thank you for your services, good night, and leave the table. But you said, you know what? I just want to do the right thing. So let me, what's the number? And I'll just go ahead and you can. So now you have released anything that, any negative notion, you have released it. You have given her what you asked. You can go to sleep at night and just be at peace. And that's how I am. Like, I'm all about like, let's work it out. Like, let's make it right. And then if we can be friends, cool. If we can't, fine. But I just think that our personalities and the way that we view businesses and business, I guess business in general, is the same. So, and we're also very compatible, like horoscope wise. So we just see things the same way. I don't really see an issue arising to where I feel like if we opposed on something so much we just wouldn't do it. You don't want to do it, then I don't want to do it, then fine. Because it takes two. Like it's not that serious. That's another thing. We also have our own entities. So we have something that we can work on independent of each other. So it's not like, like life or death. Like it is what it is. Like we gonna do it. If not, I guess we just gonna have to do our own businesses and then just be friends. Like that's fine. So I don't know. I think it's just very organic, and I think communication is key. And the fact that everything is just 50-50 and it is what it is, like I don't see an issue with it. When it gets to like being like weird and like not transparent, and then like starting things, even I don't care if you start another business with somebody, that's cool for you, good job. Like I think that's cool. Like I think, but for like if you didn't say anything about it, then now it's weird.
Yeah, because to me that means either number one, you're worried about what I'm gonna say, and that means like you don't feel confident talking to me, which is a red flag in business, because we should be able to tell each other anything in terms of our business, even personally, So that's number one. Or it's number two, you don't give a shit how I feel. You're gonna do you regardless of my feelings. And either way, that's pretty wrong.
Yeah, yeah. And then if you started a business that would be considered a competitor, that's wild too. So
slap in the face. That's like, so you don't believe in our brand? Right. You don't believe in influence, so you're gonna go start whatever?
Right.
like so how does that impact our brand and what you can bring to the table here? So I definitely am not for that. But here's the thing about people. Me and Bianca talk about this all the time. How you are raised has a lot to do with how you are as an adult. That's why it's so important to raise healthy children. And people who are raised in lack, people who are raised without communication, that's what they bring to their relationships, is lack. Okay. So although Bianca and I know Bianca's lifestyle and her family and all that stuff, like we never had the perfect upbringing, but we didn't come from a place of lack. So we've always, had, and we never came from a place of the struggle. So like, we're never trying to take from somebody, so like when you come from a place of like, I live in abundance and I'm good, you don't have to worry about that. Like money comes, money goes. Like, but what remains the same is your character. And like with Bianca, I've seen situations where I'm like, nah, you're not gonna do that. Like when she's trying to overdo something, and I'm like, no, man. I'm like, okay, fair is this, and now you're here. You're doing 10 times past fair. Now they're damn near about to take advantage of you. And that's how her mindset is. So when somebody's like that, that's the kind of person you want to be a business partner with, because you know that they're not going to try to short you.
Right.
So if she's trying to go 10 times over what she's supposed to do, and so she's always going to be fair. She's always going to say, you know what, I don't ever want somebody to say, nobody can never say Bianca didn't do XYZ. Nobody can ever say Dominique didn't pay them back. Nobody can ever say none of that.
Not
like we can go out and none of that. Like we can go out like, okay, I got this, you got that, I got this, you got that. I'll never be like, oh, Bianca don't pick up half. Bianca don't do her part. We don't have to look at, well, how much was this? How much was that? You owe me $7. Like, it comes around. You want a drink? I'm gonna buy you a drink. You want, like it's nothing. And that's just how we are.
Yeah, relationship with money is very interesting. Like, it's very interesting. And then, like you mentioned before, like ego. And you really had to teach me that perspective about, the upbringing of certain individuals. And, fortunately, we didn't have to want for anything. So maybe that is why we are very giving and, we're not attached. I'm not attached to money. I like money, don't get me wrong. And I live in abundance and I'm all about the bag. I don't do things just for money. I don't. Right. The reality is what I do every single day, I actually would do for free, but I can't. And so I won't. And, and so like, I'm not attached. It comes and it goes. So at times, this is something that just, I'm not gonna be able to do at the time, or this is something that I can do. It's just as simple as that, Right. So.
Yeah, I agree. So like my little cousin, who I'm taking care of, he eats all day long. And we just spent, mind you, I'm not paying for this, his parents are, so, but I'm still conscious of other people's money. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we just spent $300 at the grocery store and I'm on my last meat. Like, where's I text my aunt, I said, well, how much do you spend on groceries? Because I'm trying to like be mindful of other people's budgets, But one thing my aunt said today was like, could you imagine my grandmother, she had 5 children. She has 5 children. And they were very poor. But my family has always been like, anybody in the neighborhood can come eat if you don't have anywhere to go. So like when you, like Bianca stayed at my mother's house, like what you want, be what you need. Like my family is just like that. My uncle is like that. Like even you met my uncle, we were in Palm Springs, like we went out to eat, and he's as a man, he's expected to pay for all of our food. Absolutely. He's a provider, not just, oh, well, that's my niece, so it's her friend. No, everybody with us gets to eat. And that's just how my family is. And so that's how I was raised. So like everybody around me eats. That's just how it goes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't even even when I live with someone and there's stuff in the refrigerator, like I think it's respectful to ask, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you don't have to like, just do your thing. Like eat your food, do whatever, like take whatever you need. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not attached to that kind of stuff. I don't know what, it's like, oh, you drink the last drink. It's like, just go get another one. I don't know. That's just how I live. I don't know. So
I kind of drinks when I go to the store too. So when I go to the store, I'm like, oh, I had a couple of your drinks. Let me get you another case.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah, so that's really interesting. Yeah. So our bonus question for this week is, what makes a person beautiful to you?
I really think their spirit. So traditionally, and for me, everybody's like, man, you like some ugly dudes. But I really don't see how a man looks. I see how a man treats me.
Okay.
Like, I love a Jay-Z kind of dude, like I love somebody who's like handsome, but I don't like no fine dude. You can't be finer than me. I'm fine. I'm the prize. So like, what's beautiful to me?
Your dude cannot be finer than you.
Well, no man can, no.
Well, he can't be, but like, you don't want.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Got it.
If you take longer to get dressed than me, we got a problem.
Okay.
If your showers are longer than mine, we got a problem.
Okay.
If you don't take more bubble baths than me, we got a problem. I'm the queen of this house. So it's, to me, what makes someone beautiful to me is their spirit and how they make you feel and how they treat you. Because like that's the most beautiful thing, is like how, people will never remember, everything about you, but they'll remember how you made them feel. What about you?
That's real powerful right there. There's certain situations that I look back on and I'm like, my spirit did not like the way that I felt. Like there was so much resistance there. And like we mentioned before, it's about feeling safe. Like, can I feel vulnerable around you? Like, you could be with somebody for a long period of time and just never feel fully open or fully safe. Like you just, and that's part of it. Like, oh, like it's just like how you feel. So now I would like to be attracted to my partner. So I do like pretty women. That's for sure. But as long as there's chemistry on my end and oh well on both of our ends, as long as there's chemistry there, then I'm okay with it. But most importantly is just how you're being treated. That is
Right.
the utmost important. Like that is powerful. So as long as I'm attracted to them, that's number one. That's beauty to me. Yes, I have to be. I don't care if other people are attracted to them, but I have to be attracted to you. There has to be chemistry there for me. And but most importantly is like the way that we treat each other is like hierarchy. Now there's beautiful souls that I encounter that like that would probably treat me like gold, right? And we have great connection and a great friendship and we're super connected, but I'm not attracted to them. So that wouldn't necessarily be a partner for me because there's no sexual chemistry there. um but yeah, so that's what makes a person beautiful to me. Yeah, that's it.
I love it. I
Could
love
you
it.
say somebody that you were not like sexually like connected
No,
to?
no, not at all.
Okay.
No. I do like to have sex. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, yeah, you can have some, like I know a lot of people who are like, oh, as long as he's really good to me and he's rich and he's this and he's that. I'm like, listen, because I'm gonna be honest, like if I'm not satisfied with you, like I can't commit to that.
Mm.
I can't come. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah. I'm like, could you imagine going your whole life having some weak ass sex?
What's so funny is like I have been in a situation where the sexual chemistry wasn't really there. And there were so many other great things about them that I made excuses for it for a long time. For a while, I'll say.
I'm just.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I do.
Okay. And
And
there were so many other great elements there that I was like, I could deal with this I thought I could deal with this for the rest of my life. And then now looking back, I'm like, wow, thank God I don't have to deal with that for the rest of my life.
But was it always bad or did it get bad?
It wasn't bad. The sex wasn't bad. I think it was more about like the chemistry. So it took a while to get to the sex. So it was more about like the chemistry beforehand. Like once we started engaging in it, it wasn't the quality, it was definitely the quantity and then like the chemistry. And we're also, each of us were used to being initiated by somebody else. So it was almost like you just laying there and it's like, so who gonna start? Where when there's passion, in a relationship, it's like there's always a connection. Like you don't have to guess. It's like it just happens. So there was definitely like an imbalance there, I would say.
Okay.
And my face is like red. But yeah, okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. It was always a pleasure. Like I'm having fun. I like this.
Right.
I like this show. All right. So if you guys are interested in free consultations with either Dominique or I, you can find Dominique at dominiquerice.com. You can find me at biancaariel.com as well. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.